How are you doing? Haven't been on for a while again. It's still cold and it's still blowing a gale outside as well. Right, I've gone on fairly well though with the fuselage. I'll just show you it. Here we go. As you can see, I've decided to do it in a kind of an RAFE scheme. RAFE be a word. The paint I've used, the bottom was just household exterior paint, as was the green, and the silver was that spray paint. But remember to make sure it doesn't react with whatever's underneath it, because that's where I went wrong and just sprayed it on and it all reacted. I had to flat it back down. So just make sure the paint you're applying over whatever, it doesn't sort of react. So kind of test it out on a small bit first. Also, I'll just show you this because I've drawn on lines there where it's just to simulate as if it's kind of aluminium panels, and a little thing that I was shown by a guy who does all of the scale models, just put little flicks of kind of gel pen around the intersections. It just makes it look a little more realistic, although in my case it has made it a little more of a cartoon kind of look, because that's because I'm not that skilled at it. Oh, a little bit of glazing there as well that I've started to do. A little bit of glazing. I haven't put a windscreen in yet, but I have put a little guy in there. So that's all it's about really. I've put on the rudder, which has a notch in it to allow it to turn from side to side, and that is it. The next stage with that, apart from the windscreen that is, will be to install the radio and wiring. Right, as you can see from the back wall, we're on to the wing. Now it's similar in construction to the fuselage. It's just a lot of formers, but the difference being the formers on the wing have to be absolutely identical, otherwise you'd end up with a wing but that was a different shape on each side. Now I find the easiest way to make them identical, the easiest way is to show you on the board and on the plan. You've got a slowly tapering wing along there, and the middle section is all made up of wing former 1, which is that one there. Now there has to be 14 of those. All the rest of them are doubled, you know, because obviously there'll be a wing 12 like that one there, a wing 12 left, wing 12 right. So anyway, you start with the wing 1 and you would slice out that from the plan, you know, from your other plan that you print off, slice around it on the balsa, then draw around it another 13 times. Then you would just G-clamp all of them back to back. I'll just show you on here. After you get them all back to back, you would align them with any one of the parts, any one of the notches. It doesn't really matter which one, as long as you align them all to the same one. Then, because they're all G-clamped together, you can then rub it down so that you get all 14 of them identical outline, length, height and notches all in the same place. Then you would do the same for the rest, only all you have to do with the rest is to double them up. Then you would lay them all in one big pack, like a pack of cards I suppose. Align all of the notches and then slowly rub them down into a taper. I'll stick it back onto the stand a minute and just explain it a little better. So you would take a piece of wood or whatever, align all of the slots together like that, like that, so that when you turn it over all of those are aligned. Then you would just file down the front section like that, so that V piece, which takes the quarter square, all slowly go into a taper, and the same at the back there. And that's how you would do it. it seems easy, but until you know how, you could easily get into a mess with that, trying to make every single one identical. Right, so the woods you've got is a little bit of 8th sheet, a lot of 16th sheet, some hardwood spars. I'll just show you again on the plan. Your hardwood spars go across the middle part of the wing. So if you take that as the centre line there, it goes out about half the way along that wing and half the way along this wing. Now the reason I've only made half of this one is because your bench needs to be absolutely flat all the way along. So if you've got 60 odd inches a flat surface, you're laughing. I haven't. From about here onwards it starts to dip downwards. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build slightly over half of the wing, then I'll slide the whole thing along and make the rest of it along there on the same part of bench. So essentially all of that will be sticking off the end of the bench over there, but at least everything will be absolutely flat. So you've got your main spar, you start with that, so you nail down your main spar, then you would, for some mad reason, he stops the main spar there and switches it to balsa wood. So there is a weak point here, which is why there's all of these extra bits of wood, all these doublers. I would have personally taken this main spar at half the width and all the way along, but that is not how he's designed it. He also has all of the rest of these ones would be balsa wood. Now I've actually made this one into a spruce one. It's just for extra strength. It seems kind of mad to have the whole of the end of this wing made out of balsa wood only. Then there would be a leading edge cap of 16th sheet over there, which you glue down, which will add a lot of strength in. I would personally overlap that away from this join between the bottom spar and the rest of it. I would do a kind of an overlap like that. It's just to add in extra strength. Then you've got your wiring to put in, which would be into the centre, which it'll have to go down through the pedestal. So you want a one in for the motors. I'm going to alter mine, as he says on the plan, somebody will. I'm going to alter mine to take an aileron. So there would basically be that. There will be another flap which will allow you to fly it off the wings like a real aircraft. Mainly because if you're landing this on water, you need to be able to sort of level up the wings for the landing, because you don't want to dip a floating and then it'll spin the plane round, and the same when you're lifting off, because he says you fly it on 3 channels, which is basically throttle, up and down, and rudder. But having flown a plane on rudder only, that was a decent size like this, it doesn't always work right. Instead of, when you turn, I'll show you on here, when you operate the rudder over to the right, ideally the plane should then turn around that, swing the tail around. But what can sometimes happen, especially with a flat wing, as you turn to the right, then the plane side slips like that, and you end up strangely going off to the left. So I'm not prepared to run the risk of making it all and then having to remake the wings. So for the small amount of extra effort to add in ailerons, it's worth it. And all I've had to do, I'll just show you that on there again. All I've had to do is add in an extra little back spar there, which will then take that aileron piece there, like that. Right, I think that's about it. So the little things you need to remember there, all of the formers need to be identical and your bench needs to be flat. if you can remember that. That's as much as you need. Okay, see ya.